Okay, let's dive right into this. We all kind of have this picture in our heads of the stock market. Just this thing that steadily goes up and up. And hey, if you look at a long-term chart, it kind of looks like that's true. But here's the thing. That simple perception, it is probably the single most expensive mistake any investor can possibly make. So on the left, that's the dream, right? A nice, smooth, effortless climb to riches. But on the right, well, that's the jagged, chaotic, totally nerve-wracking reality. It's a journey of terrifying drops and these insane spikes. But you know what? There's a secret hiding in plain sight here. Even with all that chaos, the long-term direction is still undeniably up. And that right there, that is the entire game. The market doesn't grow in spite of the chaos. No, in this really strange way, it actually grows because of it. I mean, think about that. If you can truly wrap your head around that one single idea, you are already light years ahead of almost everyone else. Okay, so what is it about that jagged line of reality that's so dangerous for most people? It's not really the line itself. It's the destructive emotional cycle that it triggers inside of us. So let's break down this big misconception, the one that causes most investors to lose money. And here it is, the classic losing cycle. It always starts with excitement. You put your money in, you invest, but then what happens? Inevitably, the market drops. And that's when the real enemy shows up, panic. Your brain just starts screaming at you, get out now. And so you do, you sell. And in that moment, you lock in what was just a temporary dip and you turn it into a permanent loss. So what's the big lesson from that painful cycle? It's pretty simple, actually. Trying to dance in and out of the market, trying to time the dips, it's just a fool's errand. It doesn't work. The market doesn't reward you for timing. It rewards you for survival. In this game, your superpower, it's patience. All right, so if reacting emotionally is the wrong move, then what's the right one? Let's peel back the layers here, look right past all that noise, and uncover the real engine that's actually driving all this growth in the first place. You have to remember, you're not just buying some digital symbol on a screen. You're buying a tiny piece of a real company. A company with thousands of actual people waking up every single morning, trying to invent the future, build better products, solve real-world problems. That collective human effort, that ingenuity, that is the relentless force that's pushing the value up over the long run. So really, forget those squiggly lines for a second. You're not betting on a chart. You're betting on us, on our collective, unstoppable drive to innovate and improve things. You're literally buying a share in human progress itself. How cool is that? But hang on, there's another layer to this whole thing, a kind of hidden dynamic that really explains why the patient investors do so well. People call it the survivor's advantage. And honestly, it's the part of the story that most people completely totally miss. Okay, get ready for this. Because what I'm about to tell you, it kind of goes against everything you think you know about how the market works. Here it is, the market grows because most people can't stay invested. I mean, that long-term growth, it doesn't just happen in a vacuum. It happens, in large part, because most people just can't handle the ride. They panic. They sell out at the bottom. And their fear, well, their fear is what creates the opportunity for the ones who stay put. I mean, just think about it for a second. During a crash, for every single panicked seller, there has to be a buyer on the other side of that trade. So who is buying when everyone else is desperately selling? It's the patient investor. They see fear not as a warning sign to run away. They see it as a sale. It is, without a doubt, the greatest transfer of wealth in the world, from the impatient to the patient. So let's try to create a better mental model for this. Forget the idea of a smooth line. Just ditch it completely. Instead, I want you to picture a staircase, a really long staircase that's always heading up, but, and this is the important part, it has some terrifyingly steep drops along the way. This is the rhythm of the market. It plays out over and over and over again. First, you get a period of growth. Things are looking good. Then, bam, out of absolutely nowhere, a shock hits. A crisis, a pandemic, a war, you name it. That shock unleashes pure, unadulterated panic and selling. But eventually, the panic always burns itself out, and a recovery begins, pushing the market right past its old peak to a new high. And that whole gut-wrenching cycle, that's just one single step up that staircase. And you might be asking, why? Why does it always recover? Well, it's because between those shocks, that real engine we talked about, it never stops running. We just keep inventing, we keep building, we keep solving problems. The crises, they feel huge at the time, but they're just temporary storms. The real tide, the tide of human progress, it's relentless, and it is always, always pushing us higher. Okay, so this all leads us to the final and honestly the most important shift in mindset that you need to make. And it's all about completely redefining one single powerful word: risk. So here's the final reframe you need. We are all wired to see those roller coaster drops, that volatility, as the risk. But that's not the real danger here. The real risk isn't some temporary fall, no. The real risk is being on the sidelines in cash while the ride continues its inevitable climb higher without you. And that brings us right back to the core truth of this whole thing. The growth you get in the stock market isn't a reward for being the smartest person in the room. It's a reward for enduring. It's the prize you get for having the sheer discipline to not quit when every single fiber of your being is screaming at you to sell. Look, just by internalizing this one idea that growth comes through chaos and that it rewards survival, you now have a psychological edge over 90% of the other people out there. You now have the framework to actually, truly succeed. So, I'm going to leave you with this question. The next crash, the next wave of panic, it's not a matter of if, it is absolutely a matter of when. So now that you know it's just a temporary, scary drop on a very long-term staircase, now that you know it's a feature, not a bug, how are you going to react?